All right, welcome. Today we're going to dive into a pretty incredible claim from a source I've been looking at. The idea that a rare, super powerful window for prayer is coming up in January 2026. It's a fascinating mix of spirituality, timing, and even numerology. So let's break it all down.
So, let's get right to the heart of it. What if there was a specific 6-hour period where the universe just aligns, creating this incredibly potent time for prayers to be accepted? That's the huge question our source material puts on the table.
Okay, so the whole idea here hangs on a specific word, sa'at. This is the term the source uses for a special, auspicious window of time, a moment when, supposedly, positive spiritual energy is at its absolute peak.
Right, but what makes this particular sat so special? Why this specific time? Well, let's get into the spiritual logic that the source lays out.
Think of it like this. The source says the universe is in a constant balancing act. You've got positive forces and negative forces, kind of like day and night. They're both always there, but the argument is that at certain, very specific moments, that positive energy just surges. And this chart, wow, it really paints the picture, doesn't it? The idea is, sure, you have normal days, you have good days where the energy is a little higher, but then there's this sat in January 2026. The source claims that positive energy hits an absolute off-the-charts peak for the entire month, a totally unique spiritual opportunity.
And it doesn't stop there. To really drive home the importance, the source connects this whole event to the sacred month of Rajab. This month is already a big deal spiritually speaking, since it's linked to the Prophet's ascension, the Miraj. The source even quotes a saying that frames Rajab as this profoundly important month, which just adds another layer of significance to this specific time.
Okay, this is where things get really fascinating. The source starts connecting this cosmic energy to, get this, specific Quranic chapters, and even a kind of hidden number code. So, the argument is that the unique energy of this moment is perfectly in sync with one particular chapter of the Quran, Surah Al-Isra. And this isn't just any chapter, it's the very one that describes the Prophet's ascension. The source argues that this is absolutely not a coincidence.
And this is where the numerology kicks in, because you see, Surah Al-Isra is the 17th chapter of the Quran. So what does the source do? It takes that number, 17, and applies a simple numerological calculation, breaking it right down.
And 1 plus 7 gives you 8. Now you might be thinking, so what? But according to the source, this number is a huge deal. It's packed with hidden meaning.
Yeah, check this out. The number 8 isn't just a number here. It's said to represent all these powerful concepts: hidden authority, the idea of infinity, success with new projects, and, really importantly, an end to your difficulties. All of that meaning is supposedly baked into the energy of this time.
All right, so we've talked about the why, now for the when. This is the part you've probably been waiting for. The exact date and time this 6-hour window is supposed to open.
Okay, so here are the exact details from the source. We're talking about the night between Saturday, January 18th, and Sunday, January 19th, 2026. It kicks off at exactly 11:43 p.m. and runs all the way until 5:59 a.m. the next morning. So yeah, it's a window of about 6 hours and 16 minutes.
Now, this is super important, so listen up. All of this is based on Pakistan Standard Time. That's GMT plus 5. So if you live anywhere else in the world, you would absolutely have to do the math and convert that to your local time zone.
Okay, so let's say someone wanted to observe this special time. What are they supposed to do? Well, the source lays out a very specific, step-by-step ritual to perform during these hours.
First up, the ritual kicks off with prayers of gratitude. After that, you recite salutations, then a full recitation of that key chapter we talked about, Surah Al-Isra. And then you follow that up with another round of salutations.
And it doesn't end there. Next, you move on to a really specific sequence of other chapter recitations. Interestingly, one of them, Surah An-Najm, also mentions the ascension, just like Surah Al-Isra. The whole thing culminates in a specific prayer for one's needs, and then you finish with your own personal prayer. So, you go through all of this, the timing, the numerology, the ritual. What's the payoff? What does the source claim could actually happen if you do this with complete faith? Well, the list of promised outcomes is pretty incredible. We're talking both material and spiritual benefits here. everything from blessings on your home and success in business to overcoming projects that are just stuck. The source basically says this moment has the power to turn darkness into light.
And to really hit home just how important belief is, the source uses this incredibly powerful analogy. The point is, if a mother can't ignore her child when they're in trouble, how could a divine compassion that's described as greater than 70 mothers possibly ignore a sincere request? And this leads right to the one crucial condition.
And that really brings us to the one single condition that this entire thing hinges on. A word the source uses is yaqeen. It means an absolute, unwavering belief, a total, sincere effort to connect. Without that, the source says, the whole ritual is just going through the motions. So that's the powerful idea laid out in the source material we've been looking at. It really leaves you with a big question, doesn't it? If you truly believed you had just one shot like this, one prayer that was almost certain to be answered, what would you ask for? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me for this breakdown.